Outlook, a news and current affairs program where we discuss national burning issues ranging from politics, security, economy, health, and whatever it is that contributes to the nation's development and growth. Today we're going to be talking politics, as a matter of fact, even as we assess the integrity and credibility of Nigeria's electoral process. My name is Omoefe Osemere, and of course, joining me to discuss this morning, my guests, one of them just walked in, the other one will be joining us live via telephone, National Secretary, Coalition of United Political Parties, and also our Public Affairs Analyst, Peter Ame, is right here in the studios. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for making it to the studios.
Good morning to Nigerians and to all of us in the studios.
Absolutely. Yes, we also have Public Affairs Analyst Agaba Wilson. Agaba, he will be joining us live via telephone, and I definitely would link up with him in a moment. But just to give a background to the discussion this morning, President Bola Tinubu on Sunday congratulated Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa for winning Saturday's governorship election held in the state. Now, the president also commended the peaceful conduct of the process. Tinubu's congratulatory message was conveyed in a statement signed by his special advisor on media, on information, and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, titled President Tinubu congratulates Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa on election in Ondo State. The Independent National Electoral Commission on Sunday declared Aiyedatiwa, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, as the winner of the election. Now, there are counter reactions trailing, the outcome of the election already. We have the People's Democratic Party saying or describing, the Saturday Ondo State governorship election as the worst conducted, by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Now, the party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, on Sunday said it would be having, a more detailed review of the election, and its outcome. According to Ologunagba, the election in Ondo State fell short of all expectations and requirements of a free, fair, and credible election. Similarly, the Social Democratic Party and the Labour Party, they've also followed suit to express, their reservations on the outcome of the election, further rejecting the election results announced by the electoral umpire. However, an international, police chaplain, sustainable development and law enforcement, incorporated IPCSL, a foreign observer group, has affirmed that the results of the recent governorship election in Ondo State, as declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, accurately reflected the records from the ballot boxes at polling units. The group spokesperson and director of administration and organization for the African Regional Command, Oscar David, presented the findings in Akure, describing the election as peaceful, transparent, credible, and successful, with minimal incidents or complaints from party agents. He's also called on candidates and political actors to seek legal redress for any dispute, stressing the importance of maintaining peace and preventing any breakdown of law and order. Somehow, this submission is not different from what the president has also said. After congratulating, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, for the successful, governorship election, he has also charged or encouraged, aggrieved parties to seek legal redress. Right. Let me quickly bring in Agaba Wilson. Agaba, a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on your show.
All right. I'd like to start a conversation with you because my second guest, that's your co-discussant, Peter Ame, is right here in the studios. Would you want to say hello?
Oh. Hello, I'm with you.
All right. Okay, Agaba Wilson, I'm sure you monitored, the event in Ondo State, that led to the successful, re-election or election of, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, talking about the Saturday's governorship election held in Ondo State. Now, this has been greeted, with mixed reactions. A number of Nigerians actually think that the electoral umpire has again, disappointed them, in terms of expectations, somewhat, speaking to the absence of, credibility and transparency, while others are saying that no, the election was free and fair. But let's get your thoughts with what you make of the outcome of the election.
Well, it is not surprising to hear this debate from both sides after every election in the country. Usually, the winning side will say it is free and fair, while the losing side will always tell you it is always mad with popularity, it is rigged, there is voter suppression, there is this, there is that. This has been our story over time. But of course, we also are able to understand the trend of election in the country. The incumbent usually has an upper hand in winning because of several reasons. For instance, in this case, we have the APC at the center, so they have a lot of resources available to them for campaign, for other activities that the opposition may not have. And also, the incumbent would have made a lot of friends because success has a lot of friends. They have made a lot of friends. Why do you bank on promises when there is somebody who can actually give something to you right away? So the person in the government usually has the upper hand in this part of the country. He can do something, especially if the person has done some projects, like in the case of this particular governor, that the people seem to like. They can ride on that. And people will be skeptical about changes. So if we bring a new person, how well is he going to do with this particular area that this person has made progress, and all of this will factor in. So I don't think anything surprising came out of the Ondo election. Governor Lucky was well tipped to win even before the poll started, because to some extent people feel that he has done fairly well compared to his predecessors. People also think that a lot of people will gravitate towards the APC because of the center. Most states would like for their governor to come from the party that is sitting at the center and all of that. But again, we cannot rule out the fact that our umpires have not been able to earn the trust of the people over time. So that is why you always have this conversation about whether it is fair or it is not free and fair, whether it is rigged and all of those stories.
All right, but Agaba Wilson, I mean, one would say that in all fairness, the electoral umpire has, been doing its, best in ensuring that we have a more credible, and transparent, electoral process. However, the claims that votes were actually mopped up, by the ruling party, it was a case of, the highest bidder gets all. Should we also now trace that blame to the electoral umpire, or will blame that on, the citizens?
Well, if you look at the case of Nigeria today, it is not a situation where we can just blame one person. I think all stakeholders are culprits. The politicians who induce this umpire, the umpire who compromise their position due to financial gains and other gains, and the voters who said their vote, and the citizens who also aid and abet this process. So you can see it is not something we should just take the blame and put at somebody's doorstep and go to sleep. If we must, in fact, and the society at large, that today venerates riches without asking for the origin of that riches. You can see a man who had nothing before he joined politics, and before you know, he's a billionaire. And nobody is asking you what business did you do. And again, you go to your village today now, if the people who have money, they are giving the best seats in the society when there's a meeting or there's any get-together. And those who don't have money are treated like underdogs. So people want to have money at all costs. Okay. And people begin to do anything they want to do, they can do to make money. So This whole thing around our election is wrapped around every stakeholder and the society and the culture that is dominant in the society today.
But from your own perspective, would you say that the outcome of the election was, credible? Was it free and fair to you?
Well, credibility is relative. Free and fair also is relative in this case. I think that the election itself was quite peaceful compared to what we used to have in the past. I think that the outcome also is not very surprising, given that the PDP was competing against the incumbent at the state and also the incumbent at the center. But to say that it's absolutely free and fair, I don't have the data to be able to say that.
All right.
But I think it's better than what we had in the past.
Okay. All right. Agaba Wilson, we understand that you have other engagements, but thank you so much for, spending part of your time with us on the show this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you. And, of course, I have also the National Secretary, Coalition of United Political Parties, the person of Peter Ame in the studios. Thank you so much for joining us once again on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Your coalition, that is the CUPP or COP, if you like, has actually, frowned or, expressed its reservations, with the just concluded governorship election conducted in Ondo State, saying that that election was far from, credible or being credible. Now, in a statement on Sunday, Comrade Mark Adebayo, spokesman of the coalition, alleged that the fundamental elements of a free, fair, democratic, and credible election were glaringly missing, and the widespread vote buying, especially by the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC), and the bias demonstrated by the security agencies who are supposed to curb such a menace was an eyesore. In his words, I'd like to quote, "It is evident that the APC at both the national and sub-nationals, they performed woefully on all indices of development and cannot win and fairly contest, win any fairly contested election. But the current administration of President Bola Tinubu has conceptualized a dangerous agenda of state capture via a tendency towards turning Nigeria into a one-party state prior to the 2027 general elections. Therefore, the party has set in motion the machinery to turn Nigeria into a one-party state." Now, this is your organization, the Coalition of United Political Parties. First of all, maybe Mark Adebayo spoke, for himself, and probably not the coalition in its entirety. Maybe your thoughts are any different. Let's hear you.
My thoughts are not different. The coalition does not issue any statement independent of the coalition itself, so we do things with the interest of the people at heart, and our thoughts are not different. The whole thing is on our platform here. So for me, I will stand with the statement issued by the COP and the fact that our democratic system is going through a phase that is unbecoming, of an electoral process, because one thing. Your guest, we just talked on the phone, talked about the center having more money, the state having more money, the power at the center. These are not the criteria to use to measure development and governance or a free, fair and electoral processes. Because for election, there's a campaign finance law that you have to adhere to. There's an amount of money an individual can contribute, a corporation can contribute, and a government cannot contribute any into an electoral process. That's how faulty our electoral process has become. When people think that because you have the presidency, you can steal public fund, dip out into public fund, the state can dip out into the covers of the state and then use the money to buy vote. It is embarrassing to hear such a thing.
Was that the case in Ondo State?
That is the case in Ondo State. And where would they get the money from? The opposition don't have that kind of money. You talk about, because the man is in government, he will have more friends. They have removed Jonathan in this place. He was in government. They have removed governors in the state. They were in government. It is about allowing a free and democratic process to take place without any sort. Why do you call it inducement? You call it inducement because you have impoverished the people. You have stolen their common patrimony. You have mismanaged the public fund, and then we call it. These people are at the weakest at the weakest level in the chain of standard of living, and then you come out with meager sums of 10 naira and say diboko sobe, boko diboko sobe. That means take money, go and cook soup. And the people get and calculate, oh, we have 5 people in the family, if we take 30,000, it's 50,000. This is the poverty that has been weaponized against our citizens. And we are not going to say exonerate the citizens themselves, but the level of education and exposure at our rural area is not what you get in developed countries. So you have this issue that if we must try to resolve this issue, we must get people who have the interest of our people at heart. And INEC had acted as onlooker, as if they don't know what's happening. They know what's happening. Where we have talked about Justice Tuwei electoral reform panel, that INEC should be unbundled, and there should be another commission that will be responsible for electoral offences, named the Electoral Offences Commission, so that can handle this matter just like ESS was taken out of police. This is a well-documented report by Justice Tuwei. So we cannot continue to want to avoid the truth. The APC are further deepening the culture of corruption with our electoral ballot. And
that speaks volumes.
Yes, of course, you are buying votes. Votes are being sold everywhere. They were result of votes sold, being paid for in Edo State. The same report in Ondo State. We cannot save this democracy by appealing to the conscience of those who are manipulating the process. We must speak the truth, and we must stand and speak the truth, even at the cost of whatever it takes. Because we can't save this democracy, we can't save this country if we have no free, fair, and credible electoral system.
But from your own assessment, which party were you actually expecting, to clinch that position?
I wasn't expecting any party. You don't expect people to clinch. You expect a free, fair, and credible electoral process.
All right.
Whoever clinches it, at the end of the day, if you know the outcome already, there's no need for election.
But for a number of, observers, Lucky Ayedatiwa, regardless of the fact that he belongs to the APC, he actually clinched that position because of, the projects on ground that people can actually see and, attest to. So it was more of, a competence.
I will want to come because, to judge the person of Lucky Ayedatiwa, and for a lot of reasons. What I'm here to talk about is the undermining of our democratic process.
And you trace it to the power of the ruling party.
Do you know sometimes people have this place of emphasis on performance, whereas maybe the kind of performance the people want is not the kind of performance that has been delivered.
Okay.
The electorate are very dynamic in their scorecard. So you have to allow the electorate to determine that through the ballot, and that's why the ballot was created. So that people can go have a vote with free conscience and determine the course of action for their people. So we can't have a system when vote has been, when people try deliberately buy vote and expect to be in power and then do what is right for the people. We need a system that can throw up the common man on election day and the person become a winner. I watched an interview by His Excellency Lucky Ayedatiwa when he says that people are saying that his PDP opponent is more popular than him. That is not true. He said it with his own. You can check the video. So these are issues.
But is there anything that differentiates, the APC from the PDP, from the Labour Party to the NNPP, and other existing political parties?
There is. People just don't want to focus on it.
Okay, can you help us get sense?
No, before you registered with your political party with INEC,
yes,
there's a constitutional provision that has been enshrined in our constitution, in our laws, that say political party must be differentiated on several issues. You submit your manifesto to the commission, you submit your constitution to the commission, and your manifesto entails and states clearly the things that you want to do, whether you are a socialist party, whether you want to be a progressive party, is captured in the manifesto of the party. That the administrators of the party have deviated from the manifesto of the party does not say that manifestos does not differ, because no manifesto can be the same. INEC will not register the party. No constitution can be the same. INEC will not register the party. So that it is captured in this document, and there are a lot of differences. But the operators of our constitution, they've deviated from following and aligning with the manifestos of their party and promoting the promises made by their party, because the party is on the ballot. We now go to elections where people now do mudslinging, name calling, insult, dancing, and jumping without policy direction. No, policy. There has to be some sense of policy direction first.
All right.
Politics is. Look how active the election in America was. People were It was a participatory election. People were saying what they could do. People talked about issues who were in support of abortion, those against it. People talk about immigration, those in favor. Nobody has talked about how porous our borders are in the north and in the southwest. Nobody has talked about it. Nobody is discussing what do we do to make the largesse of the Ondos to become a center of attraction and tourism. These are not the issues we discussed in Ondo election. Because our politics have been so driven to an elementary level where people discuss about fact allocation. This feeding bottle, this thing, feeding bottle for children, this feeding bottle federalism, that people have to come to Abuja, share the money that is available, and go back home and spend it. So we don't have governors that has curiosity, that has sense of innovation, that could drive an economy and then sit back and watch the people praise them. They are not sure. If a man is sure of himself, of his capacity for his people to vote for him, those people won't buy vote. They won't buy.
The success of every election, one would say that is not just dependent on, the turnout of, the electorate. Somehow you also put into consideration the personality involved, the person actually vying for that position. Right? So in this case, of course, the contenders, they were really very, they were majorly heavyweights, one would say. But as it is, lucky that you are, is the governor. He won the election. And now the president has congratulated him and also encouraged aggrieved parties
to go to court.
Did he say go to court or seek legal redress?
That is go to court.
Okay. And that probably did not go down well with a number of Nigerians, the go to court phrase. Why do we have a problem with that?
Because our court system, I've been here before, I've told you, look, you don't build credibility on nothing. It is based on the things you've done. There must be antecedent. Our courts are losing the respect they used to have. People believe that the court is now validating, corrupt and corrupt actions of politicians. So when there's lack of public trust in an institution, that institution, no matter what it does, if it does not go back, retrace a step, people will continue to doubt its action. So our court processes have not shown anything. Look at the whole electoral 2023 election, where INEC made promises when it was captured in the guidelines and regulations, when it was captured in the Electoral Act, that vote will be transmitted. Then our court, throughout the whole of the judgment, never talked about the failure of INEC to uphold his own regulations.
But in Ondo State, we understand the results we actually uploaded on IREV, right? So there is
people feel that you are doing. Will the court accept that IRF is now a collation, a double collation process? The court says it's useless. So we must find a solution to the problem that is there. The solution right now is that our people are impoverished and they are selling their vote. And the security agencies are standing as if they are not aware of, they are standing aloof, as if they don't see it. But if you go about to say something about the president today, they'll be in front of your house. So the security agency are collaborator and allowing the deepening of this bad system of electoral process on our ground.
That is it is possible that Nigeria is turning, or the APC is gradually, in fact, let me quote, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration has conceptualized a dangerous agenda of state capture via a tendency towards turning Nigeria into a one-party state prior to the 2027 general elections. These are very strong words.
There's no way the APC, we know what the APC is trying to do. They won't succeed. Nigeria can be a one-party state. The constitution states it in section 223, that Nigeria will be a multi-party democratic system. There's nothing they will do. I know the people are feeling the pain of this bad governance. The people are hungry. The cost of buying fuel alone is affecting every facet of our living. The cost of buying fuel affects the transportation of goods and services. The amount of cost we pay, 1,015 naira per liter, that's why you see that food inflation is still standing where it is, over 40%. We can't have a system that the present policy impoverish us rather than make us prosperous. Because when he came into office, you can't have a dollar at 400 and something naira, and within a span of 1 year, we're having a 1,780, 1,700 plus. So there's a bad policy system in place. And if the government is not hiring that and expecting that, oh, we are going to now use the same principles of electioneering for 2027, they have a different thing there's a different thing they're going to meet. Because let me tell you, people are hungry and hungry. A system must be the government. The worst one is that they are not even being sensitive to the plight of the people, because sensitivity matters. Insensitivity further driven down that these actions are deliberately orchestrated to impoverish our system and then make them come to the lowest level of human reasoning where people will say their rights.
So unbundling, the electoral umpire, can that indeed bring about, changes in terms of, restoring integrity and maybe bringing about more credibility in our electoral process?
Look, I can tell you that for free, because what the unbundling wanted to do, with the report of the Zoshisuwe panel, because the commission is overburdened. You've not been. I've had work to do with the commission for several years. It's overburdened with a lot of things. The commission does about delineation. They talked about political party management and registration. The constitution also talk about election management itself. They also talk about prosecution of those who were offenders. The power is given to they're the one that recommend to the police. So if you have political electoral violence, electoral practices commission, then we have political party registration commission, the political party registration and management commission. Then we have independent national electoral commission that is only responsible to conduct election. Nothing else. Go and conduct election and come back. You can't be doing everything. You can't be managing. You can't be doing everything. This is a problem. There's no. It's only in Nigeria you have that. In South Africa, in Sierra Leone here, you don't have that.
So what you're saying now is the electoral umpire is not independent.
It's not independent. It's not showing that he can independently carry out his responsibility without interference. It is not acting in the best interest of Nigerians, and that I do not see reason why so much money will be spent on a project and the project will fail, and the FCC is not investigating the commission. Because the commission must give account of the kind of 300 something billion that was used for the last election and be used for several elections, that the data are not sustainable if we go forward in other elections. You have seen informations in public where people come, they go to collect certified true copy from INEC. In the case of their own Edo State election, the man presented empirical evidence.
Okay. Will it be okay for us to raise dust over the leadership of the electoral umpire? Because a number of Nigerians have actually done that.
The leadership is not the leadership has not done well for our country. There's no doubt about that. The leadership is not working towards making sure that the electoral process is free and fair. The leadership has not shown. It has not even shown remorse for the last failure of the 2023 election. So there must be other people who have benefited from these shenanigans that are, making sure that these people are not brought to book and investigated for the huge resources that Nigeria is spending on the election without getting results. Because if people think that those who are oppressing them we can appease them so that they can let us go, it is impossible. They won't do that because they're enjoying the specs of office. They're enjoying the not being accountable to the people. They're enjoying it because as soon as you know that you can get away with anything, so why are you going to now come to people who are appeasing you? You don't need them. You already subdued them. You have suppressed them. So we need a system, an electoral body that is not encumbered by so many functions, that is not, in a situation that you have to have different departments. When the legal department report to the chairman, the APM report to the chairman, this logistic group, and that's why they have logistical problems. They can't. The man does not have that capacity to run all of this, no matter how efficient it claims to be.
I'll let you hold your thoughts because the studio lines are actually buzzing. You can join us on the conversation now at the numbers to call are 090-8766-8888 or 090-7353-0044. You can send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp portal on 090-9705-4450. We are assessing the integrity and credibility of Nigeria's electoral process. What are your thoughts? Please do well to stay civil whilst you make your contributions. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, my sister.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Danaja is my name. I'm calling from Cuba in Abuja.
All right, please go ahead.
My brother, good morning, sir.
Good
You're
morning.
welcome.
Good morning.
Yeah, see the reality. But the problem there, all those things can work. Let me ask you, you are appointed Danaja as a chairman of INEC, and then you are president of the country. Could I buy thing away if it be? All what I'm going to do is to favor your government. And then that's why you see judicial can never work. All the judges who appoint them, who is paying them, who is feeding them. That's why you can't carry the two case, go to court and win. Only in Nigeria you can see the third person in the elections be a governor in the state. And then the country are sitting down and watching it. You see, in America they conduct election last time. The ruling party in government in America there, nothing they favor them because they don't know them, they don't contribute to them. All right, we say they are running a presidential system of government. Who appoint chairman of election in America? Is it the president of America? Are they have anything to do with the government? Even the police in America, they don't have anything to favor government. Talk less of judiciary. But in Nigeria here, he allowed the president of the country to appoint INEC, appoint all the directors in the INEC, and then you are not allowing one judge to go to court and judge the election matter. Look the way judges are ruling about of election matter in Nigeria here. Kuro, and then no judge ever rule and publish it for the way it's ruling. If the judge passed sentence, you have to publish it for people what it stands. No judge ever publish it. This is what I built before I wrote the case. So in election matter in Nigeria can never work. And the Senate, they can't amend anything there because it is favor them.
All right,
No
Elder.
government ever amend it because it favor them. It can't bite the finger where it's feeding you.
Elder
That's the
Moja.
problem in Nigeria here.
All right,
Thank you
let's
very
leave it
much.
here.
God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Yes, Princess.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
It's Obasanjo calling you from Amali, Niger State.
All right, please go ahead.
Our guest, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you. We love the analysis, so that we urge you people to go back to the community, enlighten the community, the hazard, the pain of these things. Why? Because we were, in a few days ago, we were having that some rubber of gari, rice, and noodle we are sharing. Let me shock you with this. Princess, if you want to ask, please, I want you to ask police that are part of that elections. Police, ask them the question, ask them about that election. They will tell you the truth. Only they will just shift away. Why? Because they don't want to speak against the government. But I'm telling you, ask police. I asked. The election was so fraud. The election was so buying. I was in Edo day before yesterday. Day before yesterday, I was in Edo. Let me tell you, Edo people, hey God, Nigeria. In the local government election in Ogun State, my friend is in the barrack. He said only 7 votes the APC got. But the elections won by how many people? It won by the APC, the ruling party. So these people are not encouraging anything. They are encouraging corruption in the country. I am telling you, what you see, bandit, Lakonawa, and people frauding Yahoo. See, they are the best of APC. I am telling you, they are the best. What we will see in this country, if you left Abaji, then go to southeast, south, sir, go back and the military and the police and the custom over there, check out, and every motor you must give 1,500, you must give 1,000, you must give 500, go and fro. You must give it. So the bet of this is the bet of the failure of the government. Completely started from the judges, the security.
All right, Obasanjo.
Then the INEC itself I'm telling you, they are. This country, no see well.
Obasanjo,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. All right. We'll take this quick break to pay some bills. We'll be back in a moment to take more calls. Do join us again.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Have you heard of the latest car maintenance, overhaul and repair service center in Abuja?
Oh, wait a minute.
BB Empire Motor Services Limited is the place. We offer a wide range of service which include full engine repair, brakes and discs, lubrication, industrial spare parts fabrication, digital diagnosing, injector and rotor servicing, wheel balancing alignment, vulcanizing, spare parts of all cars, car checker, recovery of vehicles, AC servicing and repairs of all kinds of cars. You can visit us today at a state-of-the-art multi-digital workshop located at plot 1374 Cadastral Zone C16 along Julius Berger Road, Idu Industrial District, Abuja. You can also call us on 080-6433-3100 or 090-1066-0869. BB Empire Motor Services Limited, the solution for your car needs and services.
Wow, this feature phone is so good.
Which phone is that?
It is the Itel IT5627. It comes with a 2500 mAh battery, which gives you 55 hours of standby use. Type-C charger, triple SIM slot, 3.0-inch screen, plus the 24 months warranty of worry-free use.
Huh? 24 months warranty?
Yes! Go and get yours. Itel IT5627. New Itel. New experience.
Please listen to this infomercial.
Hello Nigeria. Hello Africa. Do you want to work in the healthcare sector? Do you want to be a trained certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, or caregiver? If yes, then register to enroll for Push Africa's one-year diploma in certified nursing assistant training happening at the African University College of Science and Technology, Abuja. Targeted trainees are unemployed graduates, O-level or ordinary diploma graduates, or anyone interested in working as a support worker in the healthcare sector. For details, log on to www.pushafrica.org or WhatsApp 080-339-42015, 080-550-45801, 080-339-42015, 080-550-45801. For registration, pick up application form at our partner radio stations or visit the reception at the African University of Science and Technology, Abuja.
Sorry for the inconvenience. I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
Right, we're back. Thank you so much for staying with us. And if you are just joining us, this is Eagles Outlook live on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja. And this morning on the program, we are assessing the integrity and credibility of Nigeria's electoral process using the outcome of the Ondo State, election as a case study. And the studio lines are still open. You can call in to share your thoughts. The numbers are 090-8766-8888 or 090-7353-0044. Don't forget you can send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp portal on 090-9705-4450. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Omefe, my sister. This is Alami from Central. I greet our guest.
Good morning.
Like I always say, Omefe, thank you. Opinions are very cheap, including my own. However, what I'm always not comfortable with is when we try to, pitch our opinion as reality on the ground. And I'm happy you asked our guest, about the difference between the political ideology of the different parties. You could say that I couldn't mention one. The only thing he did was to refer you to the constitution of the respective party. He couldn't, give any tangible political ideology. And then when we talk about the election in Ondo State, look, I always say this, Nigerian elites are our problem. When a decision doesn't favor them, they try to denigrate and condemn it. But when it favors them, it's the best day for democracy. Don't take election remain one of the most credible we have had in our history. It is almost zero violence reported. How is it possible that you rig out a candidate in the entire local government, defeating with over 250,000 votes, and there's still peace and tranquility in the state as we speak? And I agree with our guests when you talk about unbundling INEC. I think I agree. I think it is time to consider, that Christian Association of Nigeria, National Islamic Supreme Council of Nigeria should be the one deciding the election outcome, and I guess should be presiding. Chairman of these committees that will supervise, the conduct of our elections. And I just want our guests to give me just one country in the world where it is not the president of the country that nominates, mark my word, nominates the appointment of the INEC chairman and send it to their own National Assembly for confirmation. And by virtue of doing this, it is Nigerians that appoint Mahmoud Yakubu, because my senator represents me and he screened him. Our guest in the studio, he has a senator. His senator also screened and cleared Yakub. Yakub was only nominated by the president but approved by National Assembly, which offer 109 senators.
All right, Alamin, thank you so much.
What other changes do you want apart from this? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for calling, Alamin. Let's now head on to the WhatsApp portal to take the messages that we have on here. This one says, good morning, Ife. I'm listening from Nasarawa State. I'd always known that APC was going to win Ondo State by presenting a sitting governor who already is doing well in areas like security, infrastructure, workers' welfare, unlike Edo State election, which many believe was not free and fair. However, a lot has to be done concerning INEC, the electoral umpire and, its staff. I can't believe that any sitting governor who conduct local government election, wins all seats. This is unacceptable. Turkey Bihundu there. Thank you for that message. And then Samia from Kuje says, greetings, Omoefe and the guest. Our judicial system has been politicized and corrupted. So going to court after election is a waste of time and resources. The leadership of the electoral umpire is more corrupt than corruption itself, and that is why nothing good will ever come from them. Not them. But one thing is sure, posterity will surely judge every one of us, whether for good or for bad. Have a good and peaceful day, Samia from Kuje says. All right, Abbas from Duse says, good morning, Omoefe. Permit me to state my position concerning, all right, we have to plead with political parties in Nigeria to stop heating up the polity after losing elections. Some of these political parties and their candidates don't even have the capabilities to win election, and when they lost, they start grinding or grounding and blaming INEC. No matter how bad an election looks, the people votes always determines the winner, right? Therefore, for our democracy to move forward, this has to stop. INEC can't continue to use as a scapegoat for bad performance, just like Donald Trump when he lost his re-election. Was it not the same America? Okay. In all, Nigeria opposition parties are too lazy. Abbas went further to say, point of correction, the head of the Federal Election Commission is Sean J. Cooksey, who serves as the chairman and was appointed by Donald Trump and sworn in on December 14th, 2020. He conducted the election where Trump lost his re-election. Was it not same person who conducted this present one? Trump won. There is nothing wrong with INEC. We need to learn to appreciate our system, Abbas is saying. And let's see if we can take, this voice note. Let's see if we can take this voice note. All right. I think I'll just put this, off and then. Okay, this one is actually above 1 minute 30 seconds, but let's see how we can. All right.
Thank you. Good morning. It's Obasanjo.
No, Obasanjo, you called earlier, so I will just let that slide. Time is not our friend, but I'll let you quickly react.
They are making mistake about American election. The Federal Election Commission in America does not conduct election in America, and that's the problem they are making. The elections are conducted by counties, local government and state. The attorney generals of the state have control over the conduct of elections, and these elections are certified by the Senate. So people don't understand how America does not have a central electoral commission. What you have, the Federal Election Commission, is just for policy making and cannot declare anybody winner or can determine the outcome of an election in any state. These are federating units that are put together with independent electoral processes to conduct election in the state. And when he talked about appointing electoral commission of America doesn't have one. What America have, go and read it. They don't conduct elections. They look whether the people conducting the election, whether their policy are in line. And that's why that federal electoral body that was appointed by Jonathan the Trump cannot determine who won or lost. So the state have total control of their elections and they determine the outcome of that elections.
Now, Alamin has, sent another question to you. He's asking, how old is America's democracy, to compare it to that of Nigeria?
It is heartbreaking. Botswana, how old is their democracy? One of the chief judges of Botswana was even a Nigerian. But they are doing well. We have other small countries. Why are you trying to use your failure? How old is Singapore? How old is South Korea? These are countries that we could have borrowed money to us in the 70s. So we need to understand something, that we do not validate corruption by trying to compare how old it is. Corruption is corruption, whether it's 5 years old or 2 years old. And we have a system. I've never talked about Lucky here. I avoided talking about it. And somebody also talked about, when I talked about you talked about the ideology of political. I said some can be socialist, some can be progressive. But if you go to their constitution, you will see it. That you say there's no difference is not true. That's what I said. So I know socialist parties in Nigeria. There have been socialist party of Nigeria that have been registered. The Labour Party is a socialist party. It was even formed as a socialist party before the name was direct socialist party before the name was changed to Labour Party. So there are parties, there are ideologies. That what I said here was that candidates must learn to campaign on the strength of the manifestos of their party. That will be able to drive the ideological base of the party to the public. So what we said about election, I contested election. I was in a collation center where gun was put on my head in Olamambro local government. We don't come to talk this thing, doesn't mean we have not seen it. When they were ever told the policeman standing there that this vehicle you are seeing is loaded with weapon, the policeman, I saw him walk to the people and told them, please take your motor away from here. The man has seen it. Listen, you don't want us to come and be telling you things we've seen. We are trying to moderate the process by not bringing our personal experience to radio. But I'm telling you that the system is against the minority of all, the majority of all of us who have been turned to minority. I want a system that the son of a man born in Suleja, born in Wagwalape, born in Karo, born in Nyanya, born in Bronu, in local communities, can go to the ballot like it happened in 1999, contest elections, and be declared without money. If when we start to have elections where big wigs don't determine the outcome of the election with their resources, then we'll start to have good governance. You can never, the correlations are very striking, that you can never have good governance without free and fair election.
All right.
Democracy and elections are married together in every form of the way.
All right. Well, just a fact check that the Electoral Commission in the United States is not a single national body. Instead, each state has its own Electoral Commission responsible for overseeing elections within that state. Some key states that could be pivotal in the 2024 election include Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. But at the end of the day, I think views and counter views are what actually, makes the conversation, more interesting, one would say. But at the end of the day, the conversation continues. It does not end here. To the citizens, I think one can only suggest that we, renew our minds. We need a little bit of, shift, in perception and the way we reason and the way we actually see, Nigeria's democracy, if really we want to enjoy the dividends of democracy, because quite frankly, it's not enough to apportion blames, on, the electoral umpire or even the politicians. Poverty is there, agreed. There is hunger, all right? But you should also consider, the future of yourself, your generation unborn, and also look out for competence and not sentiment. Even if someone is offering you 100,000 naira to sell your vote, is it really worth it? Think about these things and let's do better. But I must tell you a very big thank you, Peter Ahmed. Thank you so much for always obliging us whenever we call on you, to discuss these issues. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Peter Ame is the National Secretary, Coalition of United Political Parties, and Agaba Wilson Agaba, who joined us for a couple of minutes earlier. He is a public affairs analyst. Thank you all sincerely for joining us on the show this morning. I'd like to state very clearly that the views expressed by the guests and the callers, or even those who sent in messages and voice notes, were not influenced by Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja. Until tomorrow, I am Omo Hefe. Peace or Semere. Good morning.